With green lamb laminates. Viewers, the House of Parliament saw disruption today once again when the Congress-led India bloc pressed on with its move to impeach Vice President and the Chair of the Rajya Sabha, Jagdeep Dhankhar. The BJP accused the India bloc of wasting the time of the House because it was only intended to be a stunt to divert attention from the gravity of the alleged Sonia Soros nexus that undermined the interests of the country. The BJP says that the Congress was not bringing this motion of impeachment along with its other allies against the Vice President out of conviction, but because of expediency, because it did not want to engage in a debate that would have led to questions being asked of the Congress party's alleged links to George Soros and his NGOs. While the BJP's is a political charge, the facts show that the motion might indeed be an afterthought, viewers. Here are some hard facts right up on top of the show. The Vice President can be impeached by passing a motion under Article 67B by a simple majority in Rajya Sabha. It must then be agreed to by the Lok Sabha. But the fact is, viewers, that India doesn't have the required 116 MPs, which is a halfway mark in the Rajya Sabha, at least as things stand. It only has 85 MPs. Another hard fact seems to suggest that 14-day notice is to be given or to be moved with RS Deputy Chair's nod. But the current session ends on December 20th. There are no 14 days. So will this motion be accepted? Here's again what the hard facts say. Unlikely in this session because of time constraints. But the consideration of the motion can be carried over into the next session. So viewers, the Congress might have moved along with its allies this impeachment motion, knowing fully well that it cannot actually be tabled in the current sitting of this session, but in the next one. So it keeps the sword of Damocles hanging over the Vice President, who is also, of course, the Deputy Chairman of the House. Interestingly, this is the first motion brought to impeach the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha in India's post-independence history. But in the Lok Sabha, speakers have faced such motions thrice before. In fact, if the Congress ecosystem is anguished at the Vice President's bias, as they call it, these are not my words, they are their words, here's something it can ponder. On the first ever move to impeach Lok Sabha Speaker, Mr. Mavalankar, on December 18, 1954, by the opposition, accusing the chair of bias, not allowing non-Congress MPs time to speak, and not allowing adjournment motions, then Prime Minister Nehru said, and I quote him, "When we challenge his, which is the Speaker's bona fides, we betray before our countrymen and indeed before the world that we are little men." And that is the seriousness of the situation. A motion for adjournment, he went on to add, viewers, is a valued and precious right. But every valued and precious right can be so misused that it becomes a nuisance and loses all value. In British Parliament, it is used once or twice a year. But in our House, it is moved thrice a day, unquote. These were Nehru's own words, castigating the opposition for moving an impeachment motion against the Lok Sabha Speaker, as I told you, viewers, in 1954. And viewers, the complaint was very similar to what the complaints are today. That several adjournment motions had been brought, in fact 89 adjournment motions had been brought, and Mavalankar, the then Speaker of the Lok Sabha, had refused pretty much all of them. Viewers, this is exactly what today's opposition says about the Vice President Dhankar. In short, Nehru would be appalled at the weaponization of adjournment motions today by the India Alliance and the India bloc. But apart from the impeachment motion, viewers, the surprising thing is that the Congress-led India bloc is all set to approach the Supreme Court over the issue of alleged EVM manipulation in Maharashtra Assembly polls. The polls are over, the government has been formed, but they believe that EVMs were manipulated to deprive them of a victory, viewers. And this decision was taken, by all accounts, yesterday when Arvind Kejriwal, Sharad Pawar and some other worthies of the India Alliance met along with Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi to craft this strategy to move the Supreme Court. In fact, Dr. Singhvi will perhaps argue the matter. Now, here is a short history of how the Supreme Court has reacted earlier to similar expeditions. Almost all the gamut of imagined irregularities have been covered by it and deliberated upon by the Supreme Court. Here are some hard facts, viewers. November 26, 2024, the Supreme Court dismissed a PIL which sought the reintroduction of ballot papers in place of EVMs, remarking that the machines are blamed only when one loses an election. Quote, what happens is if you win the elections, EVMs are not tampered with. When you lose elections, EVMs are tampered with. When Chandrababu Naidu lost, he said EVMs can be tampered. Now this time, Jagan Mohan Reddy lost, he said EVMs can be tampered, unquote. These were the words of Justice Vikram Nath presiding over a two-judge bench while dismissing the PIL by evangelist K.A. Paul. Viewers, on July 25, 2024, on a review petition, the Supreme Court dismissed a petition seeking review of its judgment rejecting a plea for 100% verification of EM's votes with their VVPAT slips. A bench of Justices Sanjeev Khanna and Dipankar Datta said, and I quote, "We have carefully perused the review petition as also the grounds in support thereof. In our opinion, no case for review of the judgment dated April 26, 2024 is made out. The review petition is accordingly dismissed," unquote. Here is another hard fact, viewers. I always bring you the hard facts so you can get closer to the truth, separate the wheat from the chaff, viewers. On April 26, 2024, all from this year, the Supreme Court rejected a plea for 100% verification of VVPAT slips with the EVM count, saying there are three pleas taken: that we should return to the paper ballot system, that the printed slips on the VVPAT machine should be given to voters to verify and put in the ballot box for counting, and there should be 100% counting of VVPAT slips in addition to electronic counting. We have rejected all of them after referring to the protocol in place, technical aspects and data which is on record, unquote. This bench was comprising again Justices Sanjeev Khanna and Dipankar Datta. Viewers, on March 15, 2024, the Supreme Court dismissed petition to use ballot paper to conduct elections while reposing its faith in the EVMs. Justice Khanna observed that more than 10 cases have been examined on various issues related to the functioning of EVMs by the court time and again. The courts have placed their faith and conviction in the ECI EVMs and the surrounding transparent process and rigorous administrative protocols, thereby adding immense value and strength to the evolving jurisprudence in favor of EVMs in India, unquote. These are the words of the Supreme Court, viewers. Justice Khanna saying that we have complete faith in the EC and the EVMs. The Congress-led India bloc's twin moves raise questions. Is the impeachment motion against the Vice President being moved to flag a symbolic fight, as the India Alliance says, or is it a diversion, as the BJP NDA says, viewers? Here's another question. The Congress seeks a debate on Modani, but won't debate Sonia Soros' alleged link-up. Viewers, why? Sonia Gandhi is a member of the pro-Kashmir Azadi panel. But 72 hours later, why is Sonia Gandhi still silent? It's a serious charge. If she was a member, in fact, she was the additional president of this big bloc, this panel. And viewers, this panel was advocating for the independence of Kashmir. If she was the presiding vice president of this particular panel, the co-president, should she not explain why she was endorsing or why this panel under her tutelage was espousing the cause of an independent Kashmir? Isn't that serious, viewers? Especially when Sonia Gandhi went on to become the chairperson of the NAC, National Advisory Council, that was thought to be really the government when the UPA was in power, or at least a parallel administration, viewers. And I'm not saying this, this has been documented. by individuals who worked in the PMO. Let's open this up, viewers. These are serious questions. What is exactly happening? And I want to first begin with Lokesh Jindal this evening, who represents the Congress point of view. Mr. Jindal, you have a problem with the Vice President saying that, look, he doesn't give us time, he's biased, he doesn't allow for adjournment motions. But I'm only reading out what Mr. Nehru has said in the past about exactly the same quibbles. And in fact, let me tell you that there have been 3 Lok Sabha motions for impeachment in 54, 66 and 1987. All 3 didn't go through. So there's nothing unusual. But I want to ask you, Mr. Nehru himself says that, and let me just quote him, because I don't want to stand here and talk about things which I can't back up with facts. What does he say, viewers? He comes out and says very clearly that we will be considered little men. Now, I want to ask you, Mr. Jindal, are you trivializing serious issues like adjournment motions? Are you weaponizing these motions to score political points or evade questions that perhaps are uncomfortable over Soros and Sonia's alleged nexus? Could you respond to me tonight?
Good evening, Rahul. Rahul, let us look at the track record of Mr. Dhankar. When he was the governor of West Bengal, he was always in the news for wrong reasons. He was acting as the leader of opposition. The governor is expected to work on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, but he was working to the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers from the center. And then in 2022, when Mr. Dhankar became the vice president, since then, look at, on 22nd December 2023, he expressed his anguish over opposition's refusal to meet him. On 12th February 2024, he pulls up Jairam Ramesh and commented that he is not worthy to be a Rajya Sabha member. On 29th March 2024, Mr. Dhankar, he takes a swipe at the opposition for rallying behind Kejriwal. I mean, while acting as the presiding officer, the chairman of the house, he is supposed to act in a bipartisan manner. He is not supposed to express or show solidarity or support towards one political party. We have seen time and again when it comes to the criminal laws, when it comes to the speech given by the Prime Minister, when it comes to issues with which the opposition and the ruling party are at loggerheads, he has taken a very biased view. On 9th of December,
yes, sir,
he was actively provoking the treasury benches to come out in an open rebellion. I mean, that's not the way a vice president ought to act. And if the opposition over here is not happy with the manner in which the affairs of the house are being conducted, it's very right to move a motion of removal for the vice president.
Right. But sir, you know the rules, don't you?
Yes.
When you have to move a motion, you have to give 14 days notice. Here, there is no possibility of that. You don't have the days left. So you want to carry it forward into another session, right? That's the idea, isn't it? You are talking about his bias, but as I read out to you, sir, in the past also, speakers have been hauled over the coal for their biases. There have been 3 impeachment motions moved against them in the past. None of them have succeeded. That's a different matter. Were not even allowed, in fact, barring one. But I told you what Mr. Nehru said. He said, when we challenge the speaker's bona fides, we betray before our countrymen and indeed before the world that we are little men. And that is the seriousness of the situation. So I'm asking you, sir, is the India bloc packed with little individuals, with big egos? Is that the real issue? I'm not saying this. The big issue, word, quote unquote, was used by one of your allies. Not Rahul Shankar, not the Dhankar, not by anybody else on this panel. Yes or no? No, am I wrong? Who used the word big egos? Please set them aside. Who used them, sir? Please tell me. You are very well read. You come very well prepared. You tell me who used it.
let's get certain things clear.
No, are you saying that
When the
Nehru didn't have his
opposition
facts
is
clear?
coming
That
out-
Nehru was talking through his hat?
No.
That Nehru, the
The whole-
greatest democrat that we have known in this country, that the man who built the edifice of institutionality in this country was actually inconsequential when it came
No.
to situations like this? No, I'm asking you, sir.
Rahul, we
Was
are
he a Democrat,
missing the
yes or no?
point Here.
No, I'm
When
not missing the point.
opposition-
I'm bringing out, sir, a precedent. I'm not missing the point. I'm actually on the point. And lawyers will know that precedents do matter. They can be
Yes,
overruled,
they
of
do.
course.
They do.
Yeah, so.
But Rahul, I want to ask one question to you.
Yes, sir.
The points that have been raised by the opposition with respect to a particular capitalist firm and the manner in which the government has been failing with respect to the corporate governance norms, isn't that an issue of national importance? I
Who's
want to
asking
ask
you?
you
Who's
today.
asking you to not debate
So
it? Come to
why
the
is
House
it-
instead of moving adjournment motion after adjournment motion. Follow the business of the House as it has been set out after meetings between all stakeholders. It is decided, isn't it, sir? Not someone is not making it up.
That the presiding officer should
But
not
आप adjournment पे adjournment move
intervene,
करते हैं,
snap down
then
upon the
you
opposition.
sulk about it. I'm telling you, 89 adjournments were moved in 54, 89, and Nehru said very clearly, a motion for adjournment is a valued and precious right, but every valued and precious right can be so misused that it becomes a nuisance and loses all values. This is what he said. I'm not saying it anyhow. Let's open this up, viewers. Let's open it up. Let's be calm and let's talk these things through. Jindal has a point. He says, yes, we want to raise certain issues, and at the end of the day, Sanju Verma, and let's be honest about it, the responsibility of running the House does fall upon the government in power. That's a fact. That's been laid down. In fact, the leader of the opposition at another time, the late Arun Jaitley, mentioned this point, if I'm not mistaken. So what's the problem? Let's have these debates about inflation, stagflation, whatever they want to talk about.
Rahul, I want to make a couple of quick points. First and foremost, the opposition is suffering from what I call the good Adani versus bad Adani syndrome. When Adani invests 85,000 crore in Rajasthan in a thermal power project when Ashok Gehlot was the CM, he becomes good Adani. When Adani invests 47,000 crore in a coal mining project in Chhattisgarh, when Bhupesh Baghel of the Congress was the CM then, he becomes good Adani. When Adani is currently executing a 12,000 crore worth project in Telangana, he becomes good Adani. When Adani is executing the Haldia modernization project in West Bengal for 25,000 crore, he becomes good Adani. But the same Adani, when he starts investing in BJP ruled states, be it Uttar Pradesh or Uttarakhand, or for that matter in Maharashtra, where he will be redeveloping the Dharavi slum, he suddenly becomes bad Adani. So this good Adani versus bad Adani charade, which Rahul Gandhi is adept at, finally the public can see through his charade. That's point number one. Point number two, why this George Soros angle? Very quickly, a lot has been said about George Soros and his reported links to Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, but quickly I want to bring to your notice this. There is a firm called Sherpa. It's an NGO.
No, one second. Just one second. No, 1 second, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm cutting in, but this is important. Before we go to Soros, and I want to talk about him, it's very important. I want to ask you, ma'am. Yes, they might be suffering from good Adani, bad Adani syndrome. But why shouldn't we hold a debate in the House and this point be made on the floor of Parliament? Why should it be made on a TV studio? It'll have more impact.
Rahul, I'm coming to that.
Yeah, please tell me.
Allow me.
No, I asked you a simple question.
I'm coming to that, Rahul, please. I'm not going to play the victim card and tell you, oh, Rahul Shiv Shankar is not giving me time. No, I won't do that.
Okay.
You asked a valid question and you will get a pointed rebuttal. Please understand there is question hour for which at least a 7 to 10 day notice has to be given, be it a ruling party member or be it opposition, so that a discussion can be held on important issues during the question hour. Question hour is followed by 0 hour. And in 0 hour, you have to give a notice only by 10 a.m. on that particular day. My simple question to the opposition is, have you given notice on the Adani issue or inflation issue or unemployment issue? Forget question hour. 0 hour is where the opposition can actually make its voice heard. Just 10 baje subah 10 baje se pehle aapko 0 hour ka notice dena hai. Jagdeep Dhankar is on record saying that members who want to discuss Adani, they want to discuss Sambhal, they want to discuss inflation, they want to discuss unemployment, but they do not even have the time to give a notice before 10 a.m. You are not following the laid down procedures under Rule 267, under Rule 261. And then you are giving lessons on political morality to Jagdeep Dhankar. I mean, how audacious can you be?
Okay, let's open this up further. Let me ask first. Let's first get an independent point of view. Smita Prakash and senior advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Hegde, are here with us. Before I bring in the third political stakeholder, Smita Prakash, I want to ask you this question, and it's a straightforward one. What do you make of this move to impeach the Vice President, Mr. Dhankar? Do you think that this is coming from a position, a principled position, or is this opportunism, naked opportunism? What do you make of it?
Well, I think on the one hand, it is opportunism to some extent, but it's also frustration. I think they've had it with Vice President Dhankar. He, by saying that he's the biggest reason for the disruption of Parliament, that is a little euphemistic, isn't it? I mean, it was just to insult the Vice President that they can say something like this. He's not the main reason for the disruption. There are many reasons, and he's certainly not one of them. But they're not giving it in real terms, Rahul. I mean, firstly, they don't have the numbers, which you pointed out in the beginning, that they don't have the numbers in the Rajya Sabha or in the Lok Sabha to unseat the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. And even if they did have, they need that 20 days. You brought out the rules. They don't have that now. So it means it goes into the next session of Parliament. Even then, they don't have that. So, when they say things like partisan behavior of the Vice President and saying that politics has taken precedence over rules, they should, technically the India Alliance has, they have a research group, research desk or whatever they call it. That research desk should have laid out the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the places where the chairman, he broke the rules. He interrupted 6 times. He did this 7 times. He did this several times. He didn't allow passage of bill. He was unfair in this manner. Give a list, no? If you give a list, then you can at least debate properly. And the media can also talk about it. There is no data submitted, nothing. These are charges like they make in TV debates. Random adjectives. He's unfair. He interrupts. He's like a school headmaster. He's giving sermons to experienced leaders. Frankly, for people of India, forget about the media. The people of India are looking at the parliamentarians who are jumping around wearing masks and wearing t-shirts with slogans written like they're from Jadavpur University or something like that. I mean, they don't look like experienced politicians of several terms who are evoking any kind of respect or who deserve any kind of respect from people who have elected them. So people are annoyed also, and I'm not talking just about media. You can see that when they make these kind of statements, it's not even resonating with leftist media. Forget about any other media or even centrist media. So this opposition parties, I think the last they've got is some 60 votes or something like this. The entire opposition is not even united on this because technically also they can't push this through.
So Mr. Hegde, let me come to you. Look, it's not just the Vice President that they have a problem with, who they claim is biased. They also believe that the EC and the EVMs, of course the EVMs can't speak for themselves, but the EVMs are also biased. That everybody is arrayed against them, that the fault doesn't lie within, the fault lies with everyone else. Now, I'm asking you, are both Jagdeep, Dhankar and these EVMs or the EC, call it what you want to, just scapegoats for an opposition that doesn't really want to accept that it has got outflanked at the hustings? And I read or two editorials in one of the newspapers that is highly regarded by that side of the fence also, by the Indian Express, and they said that this is rubbish. You shouldn't be talking about EVMs, etc., etc. There might be issues with the EC and the way it's functioning and its appointment and all that. You can have a reasonable debate about that. But EVMs, I mean, what are we doing to our democracy? This is like those people who stormed, the Capitol Hill on January 6th, 4 years ago.
Well, Rahul, I must remind you that the people who stormed Capitol Hill are coming back into power. Okay, politics often is a matter of perception. Now leave that. The point here, there are two separate points. EVMs is one thing. EVMs is about the fairness of the procedure, and I must make a disclosure here. I was among the people who petitioned the Supreme Court, and I did tell the Supreme Court this, that counting the VVPAT slips, all 100 of them, no matter how much time it takes, is a good audit check on the system. Today, the villagers of a place called Markatwadi in Maharashtra said, look, this is what has come out in our EVMs. We are going to conduct a poll and we will show you how much comes out on paper ballots. The Maharashtra government imposed 144 on that and is not allowing it.
So you're talking about
we are talking about the EVM.
No, you're talking about the
EVM.
No, 1 second. Are you talking about the Republic of Markatwadi that has split from India? Is that the one that you're talking about?
Sarcasm doesn't get
No,
you
it does
anywhere.
actually, because
No,
viewers.
see,
No, I'll tell you why. There are
I'll tell you
500
why.
and no. There are 500. No, 1 second. There are. Sir, please.
Rahul Shivshankar.
No, Mr. Hegde, what are we saying?
No.
Every constituency will hold its separate poll and say, look, what we did and what we didn't do doesn't tally, and we'll have a complete set of.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you interrupt
Yes.
like this,
Yes.
if you
Rahul, I need
interrupt
to
like
rebut
this,
this.
that is exactly
No,
why
Mr.
the Congress.
Hegde, come on. Are we
that's
spreading?
exactly-
What are we
that
doing?
is exactly why
The same
people
Markatwadi that you're talking about on 4 different occasions has not voted for the NCP. The data is also out there.
The way you interrupt is exactly the way people perceive Jagdeep
now it's
Dhankar in
interrupt.
their
No, I'm
Rajya
also
Sabha.
unfair.
Yes.
Okay,
Why does the Congress not come on?
I interrupted
Why
the
are
BJP.
you on a boycotted list?
I'm
Why are
not
you
on
on a
a. Show me
boycotted
which boycotted list I'm on. Show it to me.
You
Name me.
are
Show the name. Show the name. Show the name.
Please
Show the
please
name.
show me a
Show the
Congress
name, Mr.
spokesman.
Hegde. Show me
Please
the
show me a
name.
Congress
Show me the
spokesman.
name. Show me the
a
name.
Congress
Show
spokesman
me the
here.
name. Show me
a
the. I
Congress
don't die for the
spokesperson.
Congress spokesman to
No,
appear
no,
on my show, but you show me the
exactly.
name.
Nobody
Which
appears
list
on
am I
your
on?
show. That
You
is
show
why
me
you
which
have
list
to
I'm
call
on.
me.
Hold up the list. Show it to
Okay,
me.
I'm
Show me
done.
the list. Now, viewers,
you are on
this
a list
parlor
of
gossip
boycotted
that
anchors.
Hegde is bringing
Okay.
into this and
No,
tweeting,
this is
one second, and tweeting
exactly
lies.
the kind of
One second,
unfairness.
Mr. Hegde.
This is exactly the kind of
I need to come in here.
unfairness that people-
I need to
No,
come
no,
in
no,
here.
no,
You
don't
can't,
worry.
I'm going to come in here,
yeah.
Mr. Hegde. I don't want to make accusations against you. I never get
I
personal
am
with you.
telling-
But Mr. Hegde, you are sniveling liar tonight. Show me the list. Show it to me.
You
Show
are
me the
on
list. Show me
You
the
are-
list. Show me the list.
Show me a congressman.
Show me the list.
A congressman. Show me
2 days back there was a congressman. 2 days back there
Show
was a
me a
congressman.
congressman today.
2 days back there
Show
was a
me a
congressman. 2 days.
congressman.
Yesterday was an Aam
So
Aadmi Party leader. No, hang on, just a minute. Samajwadi Party leader. Everyone is coming. I can't sit here and
So
viewers
listen,
talk about people
were
and their
you not
temperament.
on-
But
were you not
no,
on the
Mr.
list?
Hegde.
Rahul,
Sorry.
You are not.
Can I
You
please
are
come?
on a
Mr.
list.
Hegde, you're wasting my
You
time.
were on a list.
You're wasting
You
my
were on a
time. You
list
show
of
me the
boycotted,
list. Show it
anchors,
to me.
weren't
You tweet it right
Huh?
now. You show it to me.
I
Don't
will
talk
tweet-
nonsense
I'll locate it
on
and I'll
national
tweet it.
television. Night after night.
I'll locate
Now
it
just a
and
minute.
I'll
You
tweet
locate
it.
it, sir. You
There-
pull it
there
out
was-
of
there is
whichever crevice
certainly a list.
it is lodged in.
There is
I want to
certainly
see
a
that
list
list.
of
I want to
boycotted
see that
anchors,
list.
including you.
I want to see that
There
list,
is a
sir.
certain-
You show
there
it to
is
me.
certainly a
You
list of
are
boycotted
lying
anchors
on national
during the
television.
Rahul-
That is your integrity
No,
as a
no,
man
no,
of the
no,
law.
no,
That
no,
is your
no,
integrity.
Rahul,
It's that
Rahul,
big.
Rahul,
It's that
that
big.
is
I'm
not-
sorry, Mr. Hegde. You're
Rahul,
completely off the bat. Anyhow, I'm not
Okay,
getting into this
now-
argument.
now
I
let's
don't
get
like
back
to
to
get.
Jagdeep
No
Dhankar.
way.
Let's
I'm
get
not
back
going
to
to allow you
Jagdeep
to
Dhankar.
continue. I'm sorry.
No,
You
no,
take your
then
words
why
back. You
did
show me the
call
list. You show
Why
me
did
the
you
list.
call me?
You show me the
Hey,
list.
listen.
I didn't expect you to. I didn't
will
expect
tweet
you
it.
to
I
make
will
colored
tweet it.
remarks
I will
against
tweet
me.
it.
I'm sorry, I
I
didn't.
will-
I called you in good faith because I believe
I
that you
will
have a
tweet it.
point of view on a subject that you represented in
sir.
court. But unfortunately, sir, unfortunately, you're taking liberties which are not considered above board. Let me
No,
tell you this.
no, so
that's
that's
wrong.
exactly-
I'm lowering
you-
your fader,
you-
sir.
you are
You
asking
compose yourself.
exactly-
I'm lowering your
you
fader.
are
You
exact-
compose yourself. I'm going to move on to the next speaker, who also is a Congress leader, let me tell you, viewers, and has stood for election, Kamru Chaudhary, on a Congress ticket. Nonetheless, Mr. Chaudhary, let's not get sidetracked by inanities and fripperies. Some people don't have much to say, so they will get caught up in these. But I want to bring you in, and this is an important question I'm asking you. Fine, ask for a debate on Modani, but give me 3 reasons why should there not also be a debate on Soros Sonia, the alleged nexus. Sir.
Rahul, you have raised three important points out here in your debate today. One is the Vice President Dhankar's impeachment proceedings, the Election Commission of India's EVM angle, and you have brought in the Soros and the Soniaji's angle out here.
Gee.
Now, let me tell you, the Mediapart report, which Sanju Verma and her party cited, and bringing all the charges against the Congress party, the same Mediapart report has already brought out a clarification saying that BJP is using this to instrumentalize against the opposition parties in India. That is, BJP is spreading fake news about the OCC, RP and all those things. Now, coming to the moot point of the Soros and Soniaji. Now, let me just remind you, who is Dr. Shamika Ravi? She is an advisor to the Prime Minister. She received funding from the Soros Foundation. It's well documented out there. Now, when you speak about the Soros and the Soniaji's angle out here, let me just remind you, who was the primary source of funding of the Bharatiya Janata Party out here? Can you just remind me? In the 70s, for that example, I was politically active during the 80s. I knew about it. It is Nusli Wadia, the grandson of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who separated from India. So, shall I call Bharatiya Janata Party a Pakistani agent out here?
Yeah, let him respond.
It doesn't have any logic. A person who sacrificed, who said that no, I am not capable enough to become the Prime Minister of India in 2004, sacrificed herself, whose husband was killed by terrorists.
Okay.
And this entire cabal of the right-wing parties out here in India, along with the media, are blaming Sonia Gandhi with an anti-national activity.
But sir, can I ask you?
This is totally ridiculous.
With your permission.
I need to rebut
This
this.
argument is totally ridiculous.
Kamru Chaudhary
Because the
Sahab, with your
simple point
permission,
out here,
is there a grouping called the FDL-AP? Yes or no? There is.
Is there a group called Democracy Funding Network of the United Nations
No, one
Democracy
second,
Fund?
sir. Is there
No,
something called
there is one question, a counter question will also be
Okay,
there.
so 1 second. Let's first go with the
UN
first one.
Democracy Fund, yes or no?
Okay, is there something called the
Is
FDL-AP?
the India government funding UN Democracy Fund, yes or no?
1 second. Can I ask you a question? Simple,
sir.
because that's the one that has been raised in Parliament and nationally. There is something called the FDL-AP, viewers, and the FDL-AP lists Sonia Gandhi as one of its key office bearers. And viewers, the FDL-AP, and here is their agenda list. It says, Kashmir independence, key to diffusing the Indo-Pakistani nuclear standoff. And it lists a whole number of articles, expert articles, that will actually go into why Kashmir should be given independence. Now, sir, why has Sonia Gandhi never disputed this? Why has she never spoken out against FDL-AP? That's a question that's legitimate, do you think, or not?
No, one thing you do, Rahul, you get into the parliament, get all the opposition demands that are being raised in the parliament under Rule 267 or under the question hour, discuss them. You get your own MPs from the BJP to raise this issue also, discuss it inside the parliament. When Gaurav Gogoi today raised the issue of Manipur in parliament, Piyush Goyal came and rebutted it. Immediately after that, the entire house was suspended for the day. Why? Why is the government so afraid to discuss Sambal killings? Why is the government so afraid to discuss Manipur? Why is it so afraid to discuss about the Adani indictment in the Department of Justice in the US?
Okay.
It's a question that every Indian is asking now.
Viewers, the fact is that the BJP, and let me bring in, I don't know where the BJP spokesman, I think she's gone, but let me bring in Smita Prakash. Smita Prakash, straightforward question here. If Modani is to be brought up, should Sonia also be brought up in Parliament and discussed threadbare, in your opinion? Or is it a flippant issue?
No, it's certainly not flippant. The BJP has been accusing Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi of being allied with the Soros and being tools in the hands of left-wing international conspirators. Now, that's a serious allegation because, Rahul Gandhi is not merely a Gandhi family scion. He's now shadow prime minister. He's leader of the opposition. So this allegation of him needs to be backed with facts. and presented in Parliament. Those facts should be presented in Parliament, not just allegations. It's not enough to make charges anymore. The people of this country have the right to know whether that is true or not, and what are the facts.
Yeah.
Even about Sonia Gandhi, Rahul, I think it's time that these facts were presented. Because she was a shadow behind the Prime Minister for 10 years. If Rahul Gandhi is the shadow Prime Minister, she was the shadow.
Okay.
So, this continuous caricaturing of Modani, no, that's not enough. Give the facts.
Sanju Verma, respond. I'll also bring back Mr. Hegde, who's been ferreting through that note and can't find my name in the top 16. Even I was surprised because the Congress, being the undemocratic party it is, left me out. I felt really, really bad that they left me out because I asked so many piercing questions and I felt that maybe they think I'm a Godi media journalist. Their Godi, I mean, not the BJP. Anyhow, I'll bring you in, Mr. Hegde. You won't find that list there. Don't worry. I'll bring you in. Don't worry. Yes. Sanju Verma.
Okay. Rahul, I've never seen you so aggressive. Good to see your aggression. As long as I'm not other side.
I don't like to be accused of something that I'm not. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can do is to speak for myself. It's rather unfair of Mr. Hegde to have said what he said. No, I'm a forgiving guy.
Yes.
I'm an open chap. I like to have, a good question, answer session. I also like to pick up people on their facts. And when they sort of make up things as they go along, then that's depressing. But anyhow, that's okay. That's the way they want to live their lives. That's their problem. But yes, Sanju Verma, go ahead.
Thank you. Rahul, I want to first and foremost make this, remark that every time I come on debates, I'm asked, "Arey bhai sahab, arey madam, aap kya Adani ke spokesperson hai kya?" Listen, I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to be waxing eloquent about Adani's bona fides. But the point is, I want to turn around today, show the mirror to the other side and ask them, are you guys the brand ambassadors of Nathan Anderson? Are you guys the brand ambassadors of Hindenburg Research? Why did I talk about Nathan Anderson? Nathan Anderson is a much maligned and discredited short seller who owns Hindenburg Research. He is currently being probed by the US regulatory body called FINRA, F-I-N-R-A. A man who's being probed in his own country by their own regulatory body becomes the messiah for Rahul Gandhi and cabal. Each time they shove the Hindenburg report at BJP and say, "Arey madam, arey bhai sahab, ye Hindenburg report dekhiye na kya kehti hai Modani ke bare mein." Now the second point I want to say. Second point is this: forget about media part, forget about OCCRP. I say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words. Did we or did we not see Salil Shetty, the Vice President of Open Society Foundation, shoulder to shoulder with Rahul Gandhi at the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Do a basic Google search and you will find out that for the longest time,
she's still with the ruling establishment.
I did not heckle this man. I did not
Don't
heckle
spread
him.
canards about anybody out here.
One second, Kamru Chaudhary, please don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, you can come back. You can come back, I can ask you. We're not running away. First of all, Shamika Ravi has clarified, viewers. She said that she was working with an establishment that was funded. It didn't come to her. She was just a researcher in that foundation. How does she know who's funding whom? Okay, it's okay, sir. It's fine.
This is not fair.
Sonia Gandhi was the president of this organization. Anyhow, yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody?
This is what happens. The moment you start saying the hard truth, these guys get rattled. Now, very quickly, I don't want to be interjected. Kamru, I'm sure will get his turn.
Yeah.
There is a man called Harsh Mandar. It is well known that Harsh Mandar was a part of the National Advisory Council of Sonia Gandhi. And Harsh Mandar for the longest time has been a member trustee of Open Society Foundation.
Okay, so you're saying that there are deep linkages.
No, Rahul, no, please don't interrupt me. I was interrupted. Just give me 30 seconds more. There are three names that I want to take. There are three names. Kamru, Rahul, you won't like it if I interject him. Please have that courtesy.
Kamru Sahab, please. Kamru Sahab, I'll have to lower your fader. Don't do this. We're just extending time and eating into another debate. And the guests are waiting for that one. Please, let's be fair. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to name three organizations. And Rahul, you're free to do your research because you don't compromise
don't have
on
much
that.
time. Go ahead, please.
Yes, very quickly. There is an NGO called Sherpa. It is well known. I have written about it. Yeah. Sherpa was the one that first spoke about the Rafale deal And
Okay.
thereon, Rahul Gandhi picked it up and said Rafale is against India's interest. Point number one. Point number two, there are two firms called WeDem and HRW, both with George Soros as the biggest
Okay,
stakeholder.
so
And
you're
he
drawing these
says
linkages.
democracy
You're drawing
khatme
these
hai.
linkages. Is an explanation due? Is an explanation due, Mr. Hegre? Yes or no from the Congress on its linkages to Mr. Soros? Mr. Soros, who says, "I'm a kind of a nut who wants to have an impact," unquote. "I do not accept the rules imposed by others, and in periods of regime change, the normal rules don't apply." Admitting in his own book, Soros on Soros, that he believes in regime change. So, as Jaishankar says, he is not just an old man, but he's a dangerous old man. Should we not know what the opposition is doing with a dangerous old man? Yes or no, sir?
Before that, since you shut my fader the previous time, this is the response that I've got. Rahul wasn't working anywhere at that time, therefore he was not on the boycott list. Then he joined some other channel, but we do not go to his shows. This is the response that I have.
So you have a direct line to the Congress party?
This
hang on.
is what I have
just
got.
a minute.
Yes.
No, 1 second, viewers.
No.
Do you know
I'm
somebody
telling
called
you, you are
Sanjay Jha?
boycotted.
Do you know somebody called... No, name the person who's given you this information. No, name it. Name.
Send me a legal notice.
Name the
I will
person.
answer
Why
it.
should I? You are making
No,
all
no,
sorts of.
because-
You are making all
because
sorts
you
of
use your
insinuations
show, you use your
in the garb of
megaphone.
anonymity. Anyhow,
No,
I don't really care. I don't really care about the
exactly.
Congress party
Mr.
banning or
Soros
not
may have
banning. I
sent
think
me
it was
that
a
email.
horrible. If you believe, sir, that people should be
no.
banned. No. 1 second.
No,
By a
I
leader
am
of a party
telling
who holds up a constitution and says, no, just a minute. Just a minute. 1 second. Just a minute. Let's talk about principles. If you're a man of the law, do you believe a person who holds up the constitution in his hand and says, "I swear by it," goes about banning journalists and taunting
you
them
a
when they
journalist?
ask them questions?
Are
Is
you
that
a
democratic?
journalist?
Is that
You are a
constitutional?
propagandist.
No, it is. It
You are a
isn't, viewers. It
propagandist.
isn't, viewers.
You're not a
Anyhow,
journalist.
I just need to move on. Forget it, Mr. Hegre. I'm sorry.
Forget it.
You're a
I'm
petty
sorry.
individual who has
I
brought
am
the
sorry.
standard of
You
your
are using-
own
you are being
intellect
unfair.
to your
You are being unfair.
no, hang on, to
You
your
are
own
being
ankles.
unfair
I
to
move on.
people on
I'm
our
moving
channel.
on. I'm moving on. Let it go. I don't want to bandy words with you, sir. Viewers, let's move on to an important story. And this is the story that has captured the national imagination. His pain, the man in the center of your screens, will haunt us forever. Atul Subhash committed suicide. The news may never have broken had it not been for Atul's 81-minute video log in which he read from his 24-page suicide note. All through his deposition, he wore a plaque with, quote, "Justice is due," unquote, written on it. Subhash incriminated his estranged wife. Subhash told us that he hailed from Uttar Pradesh and got married to Nikita, a software professional, in 2019. They later separated, but the separation wasn't a clean one. His estranged wife and her parents slapped 9 cases under several charges, including murder, dowry harassment, unnatural sex, etc., against him and his parents. Atul says his in-laws used IPC 498A to blackmail him and then to demand rupees 3 crore to withdraw the cases under the draconian section, plus rupees 30 lakh for visitation rights to see his son. The video went viral, and the support for Atul has meant that his family felt emboldened enough to lodge a police complaint against their in-laws for their alleged relentless harassment that pushed Subhash over the edge. The estranged wife's family has, of course, denied the allegations. Atul's charges, viewers, are now very well known. And he claims that the money that was being asked, he could not afford to pay. The family has countered. The estranged wife's family has countered the charges, saying false charges leveled to damage our reputation. The matter now, obviously, viewers, is also falling into not just the public domain, but also, viewers, the police has registered cases against the wife, the estranged wife, and her family. The case, attention, viewers, the total attention that has come onto this case has also sparked a debate on a law that is supposedly open to misuse. Section 498A states, and this is what it states, viewers: husband or relatives of a husband who subject a woman to cruelty shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and liable to fine, unquote. The law once applied often stigmatizes the man. The court in any case have not been sympathetic to men who have sought relief in cases of marital disputes. And there are several examples of this. The Kerala High Court, when a man complained that his wife allegedly indulged in adultery, as admitted by her in court, and he claimed compensation for mental agony caused in the marriage, the family court grants compensation, but the Kerala High Court overturns the decision. Says modern laws reject the notion of one spouse owning the other's loyalty, which was often the basis for damage claims, unquote. The Allahabad High Court on another date said husband seeks divorce claiming cruelty. Husband says not willing to live with wife. Wife says willing to live with husband. Court rejects divorce petition. Says wife has pointed out that she is willing to live with her husband, whereas the appellant husband has not proved the instances of cruelty, unquote. And there are several others where the man's plea has fallen on deaf ears, viewers. And this has happened time after time, especially in maintenance cases where the couple are going through a problem. Merely because the wife is capable of earning at one time, viewers, is not a sufficient reason to reduce the maintenance awarded by the family court. This has also been said in a case recently. While these cases don't specifically fall under the ambit of 498A, the Supreme Court has recognized that it has become a weapon in the hands of married women. And the Supreme Court has said there's been a notable rise in matrimonial disputes via Section 498A, growing tendency to misuse provisions of Section 498A, Section 498A becoming a tool for unleashing vendetta, used to seek compliance with unreasonable demands. And the fundamental question are, viewers, tonight, and this case brings us to ask those questions, are courts succumbing to virtue signaling by not providing relief to men in cases of marital discord? Let's ask those questions. Let's go straight across to our panel. Vikas Modi, the brother of the deceased Atul Subhash, is going to be with us, and he's there. Advaita Kala, columnist, Barka Threyan, men's rights activist. But before that, let me just quickly bring in Mr. Vikas Modi. Thank you, Mr. Vikas Modi. I don't know what to say, apart from, of course, condole with you on your untimely loss. This is probably very, very difficult for you to do tonight. But thank you for joining us. आप बताइए कि ये जो पूरा डिस्कॉर्ड हुआ है उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या थी, विकास साहब?
सर, शादी.com के थ्रू शादी हुई थी और फैमिली जो मिली थी वो 2019 में मिली थी जनवरी में, और शादी जो हुई थी वो अप्रैल 2019 में हुई थी शादी। आप प्रॉब्लम जो शुरू हुई थी ये शुरू ही नहीं हुई थी, पता नहीं कैसे क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ, ये तो मुझे नहीं पता कि कैसे इन लोगों ने ये सारी चीजें करने की कोशिश की। सारी डिवोर्स फाइल हुआ, मतलब बहुत बड़ा कुछ ऐसा रीजन तो था नहीं, बट जिसको बहुत बड़ा अपने उसमें चार्जशीट में और उस सारी चीजों में वो आप कोर्ट के केसेस जब देखेंगे तो उसमें पता चलेगा। मुझे एग्जैक्ट तो पता नहीं है कि क्या उन्होंने लिखा हुआ है, मैंने अभी केसेस के डॉक्यूमेंट्स स्टडी नहीं किए हैं, बिकॉज वो मेरा भाई हैंडल कर रहा था सब कुछ।
बहुत सैड सिचुएशन, वेरी सैड। बरखा त्रेहन, what do you make of this? Are courts succumbing to virtue signaling? I mean, there is this entire bunch of people who are blaming the judge. I don't want to go there because I don't have the proof, but the victim himself blamed the judge, that the judge was being obstruse. Are courts succumbing to virtue signaling by not providing relief to men in cases of marital discord?
Absolutely. I really am very shattered. The heartbreaking suicide of Atul Subhash has shed light on very dark and overlooked struggles of men. Like, this is not the first case. There are lakhs of men who are dying. Atul Subhash is not the only case. But since this video went very viral, we all are discussing this today. The NCRB data says that husband suicided 3 times more. 3 times more, and still we are in deep slumbers. I have met all the law ministers and told them the ground reality, that men are suffering like anything. They have no say. They are just become they have just failed. The system has failed them, because even if they want to say, nobody is there to listen them. There is no counseling, there is no helpline number where they can call and record their grievances or whatever it is. They are just on barren land, they are forgotten gender. So we don't even think that men are human. The problem is this, and that is why all the politicians are busy, they are deaf ears. Even the judiciary, despite pointing out so many times, judiciary has time and again said 498A is legal terrorism, because 95% of the cases are false. Judiciary has pointed out, but they have done nothing. Again, recently judiciary said, the court said that 498A is misused, and we need to rethink about it. They have done nothing. Now, last 10 days back, they said, the judiciary came up, the Supreme Court came up with this, that the rape cases, the false rape cases which are coming, that is a very worrying trend.
Yes.
So these are the statements often given by judiciary.
So,
but what is on the ground? See what Atul Subhash said, justice is due. He said the system has failed. The system needs, I say, the system needs overhauling.
Okay.
Again, the
Let me bring
woman who file false cases should be the woman who file false cases should be also hanged till death.
Okay, well,
because
viewers,
the false accuser is ruining the whole family.
these are allegations, even though one has to be in this particular matter moved by the pain that is being expressed by Atul, but the fact is these are allegations, and neither should we dox the woman concerned, and neither should we publicize her name, etc., because it will lead to a backlash and will presume her guilty before anyone presides over her innocence. But one second, no, it's a, you made a point. I understand.
Just let me complete this. Let me clarify this. Just I wanted to clarify that I said hang the false accuser when the court comes to know that she has filed a false case.
There are according to the victim, there were many people who were part of this. So, Ranjana Kumari, I have to ask you this question.
I'm not talking particularly about this.
Fair enough. Okay, let's keep it general, fair enough. Let me ask you, Ms. Ranjana Kumari, and there's a problem here. Clearly, even the Supreme Court is expressing it. What prevents the Supreme Court from coming in? Do you think an intervention is needed?
Well, Rahul, I've joined the program because normally your debates are very balanced, and I don't think we should villainize the woman who is living with a small 4-year-old boy whose alimony has not been paid to her, and all these allegations needs to be legitimacy of them and how veracity should be checked. So these complaints are subject to investigation. Let's put it there. Now, other thing is that till we know that there were 9 cases. And the cases were of, since separation, it was custody of the child, it was alimony, it was, like it's a bouquet of cases that lawyers suggest to any woman, any family whose daughter or sister is going through all this, they will get a bouquet of cases and then they will proceed to the court. Now here the bigger point here is that when he in his society, I have total, this thing, I really share the pain of the family because, this is something young man, they lost, and this is most unfortunate. But look at the allegations. Allegations are talking about harassment by the court, 120 times visit to the court, 40 times he personally had to go. Why? He had a lawyer to look after. Then also he's talking about judicial corruption. He's talking about family courts not functioning in the legal manner. He's also saying that mental health issue was there, which nobody is in the discussion, bringing the whole idea of, why did they go to in these shadi.coms and all these things. They don't look after these issues, that if somebody is suffering from some kind of a mental health and family is pushing the person into marriage, then what will it happen? Say a bipolar, say somebody who has schizophrenia.
No, we don't know what the issue
we don't
was.
know. That's what I'm just giving an example.
One second, let's not speak over each other, please.
Don't say this.
Okay.
Such a bright
Let's not speak over each other. One
such
second.
a bright person, an AI engineer,
Barkat Rehan,
an
please.
artificial intelligence engineer.
Let her finish. Let her make her point. We can come back and rebut. Yes.
I just want to say that if this was not the dowry law per se, which there is general perception about that, because if you have 6,000 women in 2022 dying, reported
Okay,
to
so you
Parliament.
believe that-
1 minute, 13,500 women who are being harassed and complain. I think, why don't men go and say my wife is beating me, or
Okay.
why do they
So you're
emasculate
saying
about-
from
why
one case,
they
don't
say
throw,
I'll give you
don't
an
throw
answer.
the law out of the window. Okay, one second. Advaita
Yes,
Kala, where do you
yes.
come in on this?
Well, first of all, I mean, my condolences to Vikasji. I think it's very brave of him to face a debate on a topic that is so personally devastating. So really, my condolences to him and his family and his mother, who's just absolutely devastated, and it breaks one's heart to have to see her go through that with a young son. I think, the default setting, I think, for all of us, Rahul, is of course to listen to women too, because we come from a society where we have seen a lot of oppression when it comes to women. But what is inarguable, and it pains me to say this because this means that women who are still oppressed, still victimized in our country, are now going to be doubted because some people use this with the cooperation of crooked lawyers. They use sections that are meant to protect women to abuse men. And this is something that we have to recognize and acknowledge.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with this debate very often becomes is that it takes on this identity politics shade, with the where you're either for women
Or
or you're
against.
for men. And the worst thing we can do when there is such human tragedy involved is to get caught up in these ideologies. I think it's extremely important that we recognize the suffering of this young man who erased himself.
Well, that's why
And he's a
Advaita
victim
Kela, that's why.
and also the judicial system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's
Also
the thing. That's
judicial
the reason
system.
why
So
I've
there is
kept
that
my
personal
questions
issue
focused
which
on the system, which perhaps needs some attending to. Now, viewers, we can have that debate also on what requires to be fixed and how much of it requires to be fixed. But it was a good initiation into a conversation. There is a recognition that the law perhaps is a bit infirm. I'll leave it at this, viewers. Palki Sharma up with the Vantage next.
Presented by
बच्चा को इंसाफ दिलवा दीजिए बस और कुछ नहीं चाहिए बाप से तुम्हें छोड़वा दे बच्चे से नहीं मिल रहा तेरे बाप टॉर्चर किया हम लोग को भी टॉर्चर किया पर मेरा बच्चा अपने ऊपर सब लेके अपना मेरा बच्चा सब बर्दाश्त किया हम लोग को भी नहीं सहने दिया अपना कष्ट अपने झेलता रहा अंदर ही अंदर घुट गया एकदम बर्दाश्त से बाजुल कर दी मेरा बच्चा एकदम अंदर से टूट गया था रे बाप रे मेरा बच्चा अंदर से बिल्कुल टूट गया था इतना टॉर्चर हुआ मेरा बच्चा कि टूट गया एकदम अंदर से
अभी मीडिया का ही दे रहा है क्या बस लाश कहाँ
मेरा बच्चा अंदर से बिल्कुल टूट गया
आपके बेटा आपको कुछ बताए थे क्या हुआ था और हो क्या रहा था सर क्यों ऐसा डिसीजन लिए है
हमारा बेटा हमको कहता था कि पापा हम जाते हैं कोर्ट में तो हमारे पास हमको जो है सो पूरा जस्टिस नहीं मिलता है वहाँ हर आदमी हमको जो है सो कानून व्यवस्था के अंतर्गत कोई काम नहीं होता है और ये नियम से चलने वाला कानून से चलने वाला आदमी था लेकिन ये कभी भी जो है तो वहाँ की कानून व्यवस्था को एकदम मानता था कि एकदम खत्म
है सर क्या क्या बताए थे सर आपके बेटा इससे पहले आपकी जो बात हुई थी कब बात हुई थी और क्या हुआ क्या था
मार्च के महीना में वो गया था मार्च के महीना के बाद जब आया ना तो कहा कि पापा वहाँ का जो मीडिएशन का जो जज है चाहे जो भी लोग है वकील है चाहे जज है जो भी है वो वहाँ की कानून व्यवस्था जो लॉ है अपने भारत का उस लॉ से नहीं चलता है लोग उस लॉ को मानता ही नहीं है जो ये बता रहा था कि इस धारा में ये लॉ होना चाहिए तो वो उसको हाई कोर्ट के, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के लॉ को भी नहीं मानता था।
क्या बोले थे आपके बेटा आपको? उनको हो क्या रहा था?
उनको कुछ नहीं, उनको तो 40 बार बेंगलोर, कम से कम 40 बार गया होगा बेंगलोर से बड़ा जौनपुर, और माने इतनी धारा उस पर, एक खत्म हो जाता था केस तो दूसरा लगा देती थी। इस बात के कारण जो है तो भीतर से फ्रस्ट्रेट था, लेकिन हम लोग को महसूस नहीं होने दिया कि क्या है नहीं है। एकाएक हम लोग को खबर गई है कि वो अपना पूरा मेल वगैरह हमारे छोटे लड़के को रात में किया है 1:30 बजे 2 बजे, हमारे पास 3 बजे उसका फोन आया है। उसके बाद हम लोग कैसे कैसे करके वहाँ से पटना आए हैं, एयरपोर्ट पटना से बेंगलोर पहुँचे 4 बजे शाम में।
मतलब सर आप जानते हैं कि उनके फैमिली कुछ जो अपने वाइफ के ऊपर और उनके फैमिली के ऊपर जो इल्ज़ाम लगाए हैं, सच है वो सारे?
एकदम 100% सच है, 100% सच है। उसमें एक आध इल्ज़ाम छूट गया हो तो भले ही, लेकिन जितना इल्ज़ाम को याद होगा उतना लगाया हो तो एकदम सही है।
मतलब आपके बेटा हेरासमेंट,
बहुत हेरासमेंट था उसके साथ। हमारी वाइफ 4 महीना रही है, इसको डायबिटीज नहीं थी, वहाँ के टेंशन को देख के वो देखती थी, वहाँ की जो स्थिति है उसको देख करके इसको डायबिटीज हो गई।
मतलब आपके बेटे के अतुल के साथ रहती थी?
हाँ, नहीं गई थी, उसको प्रेग्नेंट थी तो हमारी वाइफ को हमने भेजा था, अकेले हम रहते थे वहाँ बिहार में, इसको भेजा था कि वहाँ पर मदद करना है बहू की। वहाँ का जो देखती थी ना, उसका जो आचार विचार, इसको देख करके थोड़ा सा इसको भी बहुत टेंशन होता था, लेकिन ये बोलती नहीं थी। हमारे लड़कियों को अब कितना टेंशन होता होगा हम नहीं बता सकते हैं।
8 months after separation, they filed a divorce case against him, and lot of charges against him were charged in different acts and different acts and different sections. Even not only on my brother, even on me, even on my old parents, all of them were charged against the dowry and all. Many type of cases were there. So basically I want to tell you that these everything in the system is for women, not for men. Every laws in India are for women, not for men. Why is it so? My question is this only, and my brother fought for this, and he
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Israel is attacking Syria, destroying Assad's military bases and assets, and taking up disputed land. Why is Netanyahu doing this? Is he trying to start another war, and how is the world reacting? The US too is carrying out strikes in Syria. They're going after the ISIS.